we are live. NFL Week 11 recap. There was a lot that happened yesterday, and of course dating back to Thursday with the Patriots beating the Jets on Thursday night, 27-14. But with Week 11 yesterday, there was started off with the Dolphins beating the Commanders over in Spain, the very first the first Spain game that we had, and it was a game. It went down to the wire, but the 1:00 slate, the Bears beat the Vikings. That was a big one. The Panthers, man, happy for the Carolina Panthers to go into Atlanta to sweep the Falcons, and then to have. I saw Robert Hunt tweet after the game that they should just build a Bryce Young statue in Atlanta, especially with the sweep. And good for Bryce Young yesterday, because I sat here 1 week ago that. Look, I was pretty much out on Bryce Young, and I don't want to, walk it back after a single game and basically say that, hey, I'm 100% bought back in with Bryce Young, but really, really happy for the Carolina Panthers for obvious reasons. I mean, look, this is a team that has been up and down throughout a lot of 2025, and anytime you can put up 30 points on your rival, your quarterback sets a franchise record, and also within this, with the Carolina Panthers yesterday, but Bryce Young broke Cam Newton's record for passing yards in a single game. So all around, huge win for the Carolina Panthers yesterday, again, for obvious reasons. And also the Carolina Panthers are very big winners from Week 11, not just because of the fact that they beat the Falcons 30-27, but the Bucs also lost in Tampa, and the Bucs play the Rams next week. So for Carolina rather, everything is, look, the opportunity is in front of you, and the biggest reason as to, kind of why I'm not going to immediately buy right back in and flip at the snap of a finger with the Panthers is I need to see some sort of repeatable success. I'm not just going to, we beat the Falcons. There's Bryce Young threw for his second 200-yard game of the season. We're bought back in. He's a franchise quarterback. Not saying that, but very, very happy for the Panthers, all things considered. Quickly, if you are enjoying, I will ask to kindly like the stream. It helps tremendously with the almighty YouTube algorithm, and I cannot thank you guys enough for the support. So if you could take a second to like the stream, helps tremendously, and we will discuss, we're going to discuss a lot here. Let's see here. Double loss for the Seahawks. Hold on, let me take the Falcons off. Double loss for the Seahawks because not only we lost to the Rams, but the Rams also might get a really good draft pick next year with the Falcons pick. So you're not wrong on that. And I also, I'm going to discuss one last thing from the Panthers game. The good for Tetairoa McMillan. Obviously, Bryce Young gets a lot of love yesterday, and he should. 448 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. I was sitting here 7 days ago right now. I said several times that, how many chances are we going to give Bryce Young before we say, hey, this is clearly not working out? Because they lost last week, double digits to a 1-8 football team. Truly could not be happier for Bryce Young with the way that with the way he played in Week 11. Now, Raheem Morris might be out of there by the end of the year. This is from user CER. I'm going to be honest, I couldn't agree more. And when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, I don't know how you can legitimately say in any capacity that, hey, we have our head coach, we have our offensive coordinator of the future with Michael Penix. I don't believe that. I don't think any Falcons fans believe that. And Raheem Morris is a very frustrating head coach. So Raheem Morris, we'll just leave it for Raheem Morris for at this point. But this is a team that, as far as I'm concerned, is a lot more talented than a 3-7 football team. And to be 3-7 after this, to lose the way you did, to be swept by the Panthers, if you look at the Falcons' wins, they were in games where the defense either took over or Bijan Robinson took over. And the Falcons' 3 wins on the year are a game they dominated J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, which, for being honest, you kind of did your job there. And then you beat the Commanders, who started Marcus Mariota that day, so you beat a backup quarterback. and you do have to credit, I mean, you really, really have to credit the Falcons for beating the Bills the way they did in that game. They did have a really good performance that night. Bijan had the big 80-plus yard touchdown, but we're talking one game out of 10 where the Falcons, I mean, really, really looked, I mean, they looked good in the Vikings game as well, obviously, but there's a difference between J.J. McCarthy in week 2 and Josh Allen in week 6. There's a substantial difference. Everybody would agree with that. But the Falcons now have lost 5 in a row. They went from 3-2 to 3-7. I mean, it doesn't really matter because they don't have their first round pick. But, I mean, they're probably going to beat one of, if not both of the Saints and Jets, improve to 4-7. Then they play the Seahawks. That'll probably be a loss. They play the Bucs. That'll probably be a loss. We're looking at like a 6-win season here for the Falcons. And I think you have to, I mean, I personally think you have to clean house. We have a super chat here from Ufio. Appreciate it. Appreciate it says, Falcons playing in a different dimension where football doesn't make sense. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, now, and by the way, Raheem Morris was brought in to, help the defense out and really make this unit good. And there's times where they undoubtedly have been. Like we said, the Vikings game, they humiliated the Vikings. And then the Bills game, they made Josh Allen uncomfortable all night long. But in back-to-back games now, the Falcons have allowed over 1,000 total yards. Let me actually just do the math real quick. I'm like 99% sure, but let me just confirm here. 519 and 486. I was confirming. I thought it was over 1,000. 519 and 481 is 1,000. They've allowed 1,005 yards in the last 2 games. That's where the Falcons are. So 100%, the Falcons are very bad right now, and I think you have to make changes at season's end. So that's one of the biggest takeaways from Week 11, and I'd be kind of surprised if they made changes midway through the year pertaining to an OC or Raheem Morris, but I don't think there's anybody that would say, hey, the Falcons need to run it back next year. All right, now, do we want to go to Bears-Vikings? Because there is a lot to discuss within this game. Now, for the Bears and Vikings, and again, we're going to get heavy into this, so we're at 34 likes right now. If we could get up to 100, I would appreciate everybody dropping a like. Helps tremendously with YouTube algorithm. And let's just dive in here. All right, let's just anyway, Bears-Vikings. Bears 19, Vikings 17. If I'm being completely honest here, the Vikings had no business being in that game. No business at all. Now, I think there's a lot of things that can be true at once within a game because I don't want to discredit the Bears, and I'm not going to intentionally try to. There are some things the Bears absolutely need to clean up. But for the Vikings, I mean, J.J. McCarthy was unplayable for a lot of this game, if we're being honest. Now, what really frustrates me is he had one really good ball to Jordan Addison that was dropped. And Jordan Addison had 2 big drops in this game. There was another ball that McCarthy underthrew to Addison at the end of the first half, which was an interception. But there's times where McCarthy, he just drops back, he's throwing a speed out, and the ball's, I'm not exaggerating, 7 or 8 feet over the receiver's head. We are not talking about a high school level football here. We are talking about the National Football League, best of the best. And a couple weeks ago, when everybody was just, victory lapping, oh my God, they're soft benching J.J. McCarthy. That was ridiculous. To say that they're soft benching a player 2 games into his career, that was the whole thing that Kevin O'Connell wanted was a full week of practice from his quarterback, which, by the way, with where J.J. McCarthy is, he could use a lot more full weeks of practice. I mean, practice makes perfect. We're nowhere near perfect. About as far from perfect as you can get. He can use a lot more practice. But within this game, J.J. McCarthy is undoubtedly playing at a bottom 5 level at this point. And sure, he had a good fourth quarter final drive to get this team the lead, which, again, they had no business even having a chance to be in this game to begin with. And I think that Chicago deserves some pushback for that. But anyway, J.J. McCarthy finished the game 16 of 32, 150 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, pass rating of 47.7. There was a stat within this game that I think somebody tweeted from ESPN, and it's like a target percentage stat, how many of the throws are on target type thing. And there was a point in the game where JJ, I want to say like 30% of his throws were off target, and there's only like 5 games this entire season where quarterbacks were 15% or more than 20% off target, which means completely uncatchable, not even in the vicinity, right? So within this, and by the way, if you are watching this after the fact, I would love for you to comment your biggest Week 11 takeaway below. I do like reading the comments. Would love for you to comment your biggest Week 11 takeaway. My takeaway with the Vikings right now, we are 5 games into the J.J. McCarthy era. There has been very, very seldom sign of improvement at all from 9. And everybody's getting those jokes in, rightfully so. I mean, that is a punchline right now, and all the criticism deserves to be had from 9 within this game. And, like I said, we're 5 games in, and this team has not looked good, and there's 7 games left. If J.J. McCarthy continues to play at the level he is right now, there is going to be a much larger conversation entering Week 17, entering Week 18, about what the future of the position is. Now, I'm not declaring the season, the season is over in the sense of, like, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but the J.J. McCarthy era is off to a very, very bad start. And by the way, while we're on this, we'll get into this in a minute, but there was another quarterback that everybody was clamoring for the Vikings that did not have a good day. And we'll get more into that in a minute. I love Sam Darnold, by the way. It's more so talking about the people that have been screaming from the rooftops about how they made the wrong decision. But anyway, within this, yeah, I just don't have a lot to say. I mean, it was an awful performance from JJ McCarthy. The offensive line against Chicago was phenomenal. And one thing that I do have to say about the Bears within this game, they're 7-3 and good for the Bears. I don't want to take away from their win. I don't want to take that away, but Bears fans, I mean, you guys, I feel like, look, you're 7-3. Your last 3 wins, the Bengals, the Giants, and the Vikings, they're probably not going to happen against the Rams, the Packers, the Lions, if you get what I'm saying. However, 7-3, you're on top of the North. But the reality for the Chicago Bears now is because you are on top of the North in the middle of November, you're going to start to have those conversations about, well, hey, what is this team's ceiling? What can this team actually do? Caleb Williams, I thought, played a lot better than what the raw stat line looked like yesterday. I thought Caleb Williams made several really good plays. Now, he did miss a couple of deep balls at the beginning of the game, but, I mean, you're going to miss throws over the course of a game. That kind of is what it is. Caleb and JJ actually had the exact same completion to attempt ratio yesterday. Both finished 16 of 32. Caleb played a lot better than JJ within that game, and both of JJ's interceptions, I would argue, were really bad. But Bears are 7-3, and there's a big test for them coming up. They play the Steelers next week, and after that is where the Bears season really begins, because then they have at Philly and at Green Bay. If you don't go 0-for in those games, I'll have we'll talk. But let's see here. This is a good comment here from Joseph. He says, "I have no illusions. We can't beat the other top 3 teams in a row." I don't think anybody thinks that, but I do respect the honesty there, Joseph. But I would agree with that. But it is truly a 50-50 game next week between the Bears and Steelers. So we do have a couple super chats that I'm going to get to. I do appreciate everybody. Michael, to go back to the Panthers, says, Panthers fan here. Hold on here. There we go. Panthers fans here. I expect the praise to be just as loud as the hate was for Bryce Young. When will you learn you can't quit on him after one game? If that's directed towards me, personally, because I said last week it was over. I mean, we did discuss this like a couple of minutes ago, but Bryce Young had one 200-yard game on the season heading into Week 11. Like 2 weeks ago right now, let me actually just pull the exact numbers up. Right now, Bryce, and I'm not trying to bring him down as much as I'm trying to point out why I'm not saying after 1 week Bryce Young is the guy. Put him in the conversation with the tops of the league. But 2 weeks ago, right now, the Panthers beat the Packers 16-13 in a game Bryce Young was 11 for 20 with 102 yards. Last week, against a 1-8 team, 17 of 25, 124 yards. No touchdowns and a pick. Very happy for Bryce Young. Again, I don't sit here and I don't want Bryce Young to fail. I really hate when people do that to I think it's toxic as hell, by the way. Whenever people want players to fail to make them feel better about their takes. I would love for Bryce to have 440 yards and 3 touchdowns every week. But look, he played phenomenal in Week 11, and credit where it's due. I just want to see some consistency, and he's a former number 1 overall pick. I don't think that's asking much to see some sort of consistency and not a 15 of 25 for 138 stat line over the Jets in a 13-6 win. Or, like we said, the 11 for 20 stat line, 102 yards and a pick in a win over the Packers. But that's all I'm saying. My pet bearded dragon, 9 is the first ever NFL quarterback to throw a hospital ball to 2 DBs at once. That's about where the season is, man. That is really about where the season is. But it's frustrating. Media giving Justin Jefferson the A.J. Brown treatment is from Sir Chi. Actually put that on the screen there. Look, Justin Jefferson right now is understandably annoyed, and he should be. This is a season in his prime. He's 26 years old that in a lot of ways is getting wasted. Now, I have a take I'm working on. I'm not going to share it today. I want to let the season play out a little bit, but I do have a take that I am working on. I'm crafting on. It pertains to the Vikings. It pertains to their long-term solution, but I'm going to let the season play out a little bit, but I'm crafting a take. There's one in the making. All right. Let's see here. Let's keep it rolling here. And all right. Let's see. Somebody said, let's actually just go to this here. Let's just get the Rams Seahawks game here. And there was a take that somebody had. I can't find it. It was something about Sam Darnold, but look, Sam Darnold, 4 interceptions in a game you lose 21-19. First off, hats off to the Seahawks defense. Huge hats off to the Seahawks defense for playing the way they did, because you lose the turnover battle the way they did in this game. If we are being completely honest, this game probably should not have been close. The Rams should have put up more points. But this was my biggest fear for Sam Darnold when he plays a team like the Rams, because the Rams pass rush is one of the best in the NFL. Jared Verse, there was a play yesterday in Abraham Lucas where he beat him clear off the line, and Jared Verse is a player that I do think will be a defensive player of the year winner at some point. I don't know when. He's only 25, so there's obviously a lot of time for Verse to grow and to, or not grow, but to win that defensive player of the year. But right now, hold on, breaking Penix. Whoa. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute, but there was a report in the comments about Michael Penix. We'll get to that in a minute. But Sam Darnold within this game he was speeding up his reads. The one interception on the play underneath was really bad. And that was a play where I feel like there's no justification for that within the game flow and with how everything played out. Sam Darnold yesterday, the final stat line for him in this game, he was, pull up the exact numbers here. Darnold was 29 of 44, 279 yards, and 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. Where are you guys seeing this Penix information? Because I have Schefter and Rappaport's notifications on. I don't want to say something that's not true, and neither one of them are tweeting it. Here it is. Disregard. Found it. ESPN sources, we'll actually circle back to this in a minute. So if you're watching this after the fact, I am finding out in real time that Michael Penix suffered a potentially season-ending knee injury. He will be seeking a second opinion, and the end of this tweet says it is not encouraging. With Michael Penix now sidelined, Kirk Cousins now takes over as their starter. All right, so appreciate everybody who let me know about that, and I'd be eager to know what is it a torn ACL? Is it a meniscus? I'd be eager to know what we're working with here. But okay, so Michael Penix's season is likely, it says not encouraging, and it's potentially season-ending. I would venture to say that that's probably season-ending. So, the Falcons, I'm kind of digesting this in real time here. First thought is, this quickly turned into a very bad situation. They don't have their first round pick because of James Pierce. Okay, so if Michael Penix is out for the year, you don't have a first round pick. Your head coach should be gone. Your offensive coordinator should be gone. Michael Penix didn't look encouraging. this pretty quickly turned into a very bad situation for Atlanta. Like that. It's DEFCON. I know there's like DEFCON 1, DEFCON 5. It's like 4 or 2. I don't know which one's the worst. It's the second worst. This is a really bad situation. But we'll make a video on this at some point. Just a really, really bad situation right now for Atlanta. King of Space says the Bears are getting healthy on defense. Kyler and Jalen coming back. We just need to learn to play 4 quarters. Appreciate Super Chat. But what I would say, to go back to the Bears for just 1 second, is the Bears pass rush in week 11 I thought was concerning, at least pertaining to, where the Bears are now. And, you want to take a next step as a team. I know the Bears are 7-3. That very much concerns me regarding where the Chicago Bears are. Sir Chi also said Nashawn Wright interception. Tribute to Coach Beam. I did see that. That was pretty cool. And Nashawn Wright made a tremendous play on that ball, so credit where it's due. Are any Bears players making the Pro Bowl? That's a good question. Darnell? Maybe? I'm trying to think here right off the top of my head, because the Bears secondary's been banged up all year. That's a good question. But looks like the Rams are going to get a high pick. Are they going to draft Stafford's successor? I actually think there's a better chance they draft a receiver to try and run it back and have 11 personnel, 3 receiver sets of Puka, Devontae, and then somebody like Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon. We'll see how that plays out. I'm going to be honest, that the Penix definitely, the news kind of threw me off there. I just was not expecting that. But that was, anyway, we're going to get back to the Seahawks and Rams, because that one really threw me for a loop. But with this game, and by the way, there's a chance we do not know at this point in time the Grey Zabel outlook for the Seahawks. Grey Zabel, we did release a draft grades video for picks 17 through 32. I recommend going to watch that after this. And I graded Grey Zabel an A+. I thought the Seahawks had a tremendous 2025 class, but this game was exactly why, this game was why the Vikings let Darnold walk, because you have to have the great protection, and the Vikings were not going to be able to invest in the offensive line if they kept Darnold. And this was, look, 4 interceptions. A lot of them were on hurried plays. You could see by the end of the game. I know they got him in field position to get to the 61-yard field goal, but this was not a good game from Darnold, obviously. 4 interceptions was 4 drive killers, put the Rams in a position to succeed. And the Rams, to me, right now, if I had to choose after Week 11, I don't think the Cowboys play tonight, so the Cowboys are not going to factor into this. Right now, I think the Rams would win the NFC. If you want kind of a bold take, a loud take, I think the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl right now. So, appreciate the super chat here from Luke. Luke says, let's see here, Ben, team stacking Arizona's offense all season, and so obviously the high-powered offense potential. Gannon and the defense need Jesus. It's been a tough year for the Cardinals defense. That's another team that I think will definitely hit the rebuild button this offseason. Gannon fell to 3-13 after the loss yesterday. So the Cardinals they're in a bad situation as well, and they have underachieved. The quarterback situation is obviously not good. Shout out Jacoby Brissett, though. Jacoby Brissett, NFL completions record in Week 11. And that's going to be a trivia question a couple of years from now. But that is, good for Jacoby Brissett. Michael Wilson, 185 yards, the most of any receiver this year. Big game from Michael Wilson. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying, we're at 94 likes. Let's get it up to 100. Appreciate everyone being in here. And it's been a wild stream so far with the Michael Penix news. That is, he wasn't good when he was healthy. This is a very difficult situation, needless to say, for the Atlanta Falcons. So, Ben asks, thoughts on the Niners making the playoffs? I see us being one and done if we do make it, but even then, with how depleted we've been, I'd be satisfied. So, full transparency, Ben, I talk about this tomorrow in the Week 11 biggest winners and losers, and we mention that, or I mentioned that I think Kyle Shanahan should be in the Coach of the Year conversation because of how many guys the 49ers have had injured so far this year. And, You look at Brock Purdy. You look at Ricky Pierce. I was trying to go through the roster. Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Micah Williams, plenty of others, by the way. And the fact that they're 7-4, the fact that they're still probably going to make the playoffs, because the 49ers schedule right now, again, if I do have kind of a definitive, like, in-stone take about Week 11, I think the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl, and I think the 49ers are going to make the playoffs. Because right now, the 49ers play the Panthers next week, which I think they'll win. They play the Browns the following week, which I think they'll win, and I think they'll be 9-4 through 13 games. They have a bye week, and then off the bye, they play the Titans at home. So there's 10 wins right there for the 49ers. And then their final 3 are at Indy, toss-up. Probably a loss for the 49ers, but toss-up. I'd still lean Colts, but even 10-5. Home against the Bears is that's either side. I would still probably lean the Niners, which would put them at 11-5, and I think 11 wins get you into the dance. So I'm with you. I think the 49ers make the playoffs, and I do think Kyle Shanahan will, or not will, because I think there's going to kind of be a narrative, if you will, that it's not going to be fair for Kyle Shanahan because of who he is as a coach. But I do think that Kyle Shanahan should legitimately be in the Coach of the Year conversation with how depleted the roster is. So that's I don't know if that's a hot take, and it should be in the conversation. I don't think he's going to be seriously taken. All right, Arlo, appreciate the super chat. And Arlo says, as a Bears fan, it feels unreal to be leading the division, although I don't expect to maintain it. Big fan of the channel. Appreciate that. And I think Bears fans right now are kind of all in the same belief. I don't think there's many Bears fans that are right now saying, hey, we are Super Bowl bound, which I think is kind of a breath of fresh air. Like, you don't have to, like, fight with this fan base, dude. You guys are, it's not like you're going to the Super Bowl and all that. So I'm really happy for Bears fans. Hopefully you're enjoying your Geno's East, your Lou Malnati's, anything else that's Windy City exclusive. I know there's a Garrett's popcorn out there. Shout out to cheddar and cheese combo. Cheddar and cheese popcorn surprisingly go well together. But I appreciate it, Arlo, and I would agree with that. All right, let's take a look here. Let's keep it rolling. Well, there's a lot of super chats that we're going to get into. I'll get more into that in a minute, I promise. But let's keep it rolling here. I do want to also break down KC Denver. Guys, this is a kind of a dire situation here for the Chiefs. Because this is, you look at the Chiefs right now. They're 5-5. And the Chiefs' schedule is not friendly in the next couple of games. Now, I have said that I think it would be dumb to count out the Kansas City Chiefs. I think if any team has deserved the right to not be counted out, I think that the Chiefs have absolutely earned that. But huge win for the Broncos yesterday because the Chiefs... Wait, hold on. We have Michael Penix. He suffered a season-ending ACL... Oh, well, God, Schefter. He suffered season-ending ACL tears in 2018 and 2020. I thought this was regarding this. So I have Schefter's notifications on. All we have is knee injury. That's all we have right now for Penix. I thought that was something, so disregard that. But with the Chiefs right now, yesterday the Broncos did not have, among a couple of players, they did not have J.K. Dobbins. They did not have Pat Surtain, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. KC goes in. They couldn't run the ball, which was a concern that I had for this team way early in the year. And it was the fact that Patrick Mahomes was their leading rusher. And right now, Kareem Hunt is their leading rusher 10 games into the season with 353 yards. A measly 35 yards per game. So when you look at the Chiefs, they play the Colts next week, who, that's a toss-up. I don't think you can say the Chiefs are definitively going to win many games right now. But then they play the Cowboys. The Cowboys could, they could put up 25 on them. And you never know with the Chiefs offense right now. Then they play the Texans. Then they play the Chargers. This is not an easy next 4 games. Then they play the Titans. And then they finish the year with the Broncos and Raiders. So I would imagine they win both the Titans and Raiders games at the end of the year, which would put them at 7 wins. But, if you have to win three games out of 5 between the Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, and Broncos again, I'm going to be honest, I don't like that. I don't like that for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think there is a very real scenario where this team misses the playoffs. And I would be eager, if you are a Chiefs fan, where you would stand on this. Here's a great question here that I wanted to. Where is it here? It's from. Hold on. It's from All For Kanye. Could the Chiefs be in a position to draft Jeremiah Love? Yes, I do think they could be. 100%. Jeremiah Love is a very, very talented running back currently at the University of Notre Dame, and I mean, the Chiefs draft pick right now is probably not. I mean, it's not going to be 28, 29, 30. It's probably going to be in that 15 to 20 range. You'd be doing yourself a favor to trade up to go get him, to help Patrick Mahomes out. As Patrick Mahomes is now 30, it would be very beneficial for that. So they absolutely could absolutely go get Jeremiah Love. So, all right. Browns versus Raiders next week. Who tanks for quarterback? You don't think Shador's the answer after yesterday? Shador, look, against all odds, he completed a 3rd and 10 pass. That was a wild tweet by Josina Anderson. I don't know if you guys saw that, but against all odds, Shador Sanders tweeted a 6-yard completion to Jerry Jeudy, who forced 2 missed tackles and then got the first down. Shador finished 4 of 16. Did not look good. Clausen Gamer, appreciate it. I think the Rams are the only team in the NFC that can really challenge the Eagles and beat them at this point. I mean, the Eagles are not unbeatable. I mean, they won last night. I would also be eager to hear how Lions fans feel about a specific call at the end of the game on Rock Ya-Sin. But anyway, I think the Rams. Oh, I forgot the Rams played the Eagles earlier this year. The Rams can beat them. The Rams can definitely beat them. The Eagles are definitely a beatable team. Hoping the Jags blowout loss is a wake up call. Appreciate the super chat, Nilly. And with the Chargers yesterday, I mean, you talk about just an all around stinker. Justin Herbert, by the way, you guys know I'm a big Justin Herbert guy, but when Justin Herbert is off like he was yesterday, he's a really, it's bad. It's all around bad. Justin Herbert missed open throws that he normally makes. The Jags did a really good job of balancing Bajol Tutin and Travis Etienne. Really excited to see that, and I would really love to see the duo of Bajol Tutin and Travis Etienne continue over the next couple of games. I think there's a Thunder and Lightning-esque duo, or Thunder and Lightning-esque touch, if you will, like the and anyway, like they're Travis Etienne's obviously not as fast as Bajol Tutin. You get what I'm going. If you want to say a Sonic and Knuckles-esque, whatever. I like the Bajol Tutin and Travis Etienne duo. Would like to see Tutin get more opportunities, but this was a tremendous game for the Jags. Anthony Campanelli's defense. I was a little concerned that they were a little too turnover reliant at a point, and the Jags right now at the time of this stream are 6-4, and they have scored 29 or more points in each of their last 3 games since their Week 8 bye, and they play the Cardinals and Titans in the next 2 games, which sets them up for a Week 14 game against the Colts, in which they should be 8-4. The Garf, appreciate the super chat, and I hope you enjoyed the Jags recap. Rubbing your hands, waiting for the Jags recap. Hope you enjoyed. All right, let's see here. Did I mention the Dolphins already? We briefly discussed the Dolphins. The biggest thing with the Dolphins is the path for them is there, and that's where a lot of teams are right now as we exit Week 11. And I do have the Dolphins mentioned in the Week 11 biggest winners and losers tomorrow. The Dolphins are undefeated since Chris Grier and them mutually parted ways. Mutually parted ways. I mean, they're undefeated. They're probably going to run the table, probably win the Super Bowl. It's just kind of how it goes. I don't make the rules. All right, let's see here. Juju Brents is slated. Dolphins corner, sorry about this. This is bad timing here. But Dolphins corner Juju Brents is slated for season-ending foot surgery. That's per Ian Rappaport. So it says he'll be 100% in 2026. But the Dolphins right now, they have their Week 12 bye. They come off the bye. They play the Saints and Jets. They can be 6-7. 6-7. They can be 6-7 entering their Week 15 game against the Steelers. The path is there. The gateway for the Dolphins is there. The Chicago Bears absorbed the 24 Commanders' powers. I will say this. The Bears are playing a lot better than... Or not, sorry. The Commanders last year played a lot better at times than how the Bears... I mean, the Bears' last couple of wins, I'm not trying to take away because Bears fans should be elated with the success and the joy they've had. But they're kind of also acknowledging, like, hey, like, we know we're not going to beat the Rams if we play the way we did yesterday. All right. Defense saved the Rams yesterday. Let me take a drink here. Any concerns with the Rams offense moving forward? I'd like to see Sean McVay get a little more aggressive. I'd definitely like to see McVay get a little more aggressive. In a game, you win the turnover battle like that, I don't think the score should have been that close, personally. And I think Rams fans would agree with that. If you are a Rams fan watching after, please let me know where you stand. Chubby Bunny, incredible username. Appreciate the dime. Appreciate the 10-piece. Appreciate it. Hat tip. Hat tip to everybody as well. I feel massively different about the Hawks-Ram game. From the mainstream. If they played tomorrow, both teams completely fresh, I'd bet on the Hawks winning. I felt the Hawks were the better team. Okay. Look, I respect anytime somebody has a different take from the mainstream and can legitimately, back it up and hey, here is why I think this. Go for it. But there were a lot of, JSN, the JSN catch down the sideline was absolutely phenomenal. And that was, the thing is, the opportunities were there for Seattle. There's also a conversation to be had about how good Mike McDonald's defense is. But the biggest thing here within this is Sam threw 4 picks. And the biggest thing within this for the Rams, or for the Seahawks moving forward, is how is Sam Darnold going to play whenever you have the elite pass rush? And he did say both healthy, by the way. He did say both fresh, which would include Gray Zabel. But there's a chance that the Seahawks are without Gray Zabel for the rest of the year. There's a chance. We don't know that at this time. We do not know at this time about Gray Zabel. But that's obviously, that's season altering for the Seahawks. But I would also argue that if the Seahawks had to win 3 straight road games to get to the big dance, which at this point it looks like that's what they would have to do because of the fact that I don't think they're going to win the division, then I don't think the Seahawks are going to get to the Super Bowl to begin with, because they'd have to take your choosing of the Bucks, Lions, Packers, Rams, Eagles all on the road. I don't think that would happen personally, but that's just me. We have a draft question here. Are you familiar with Bud Clark? Great safety prospect, TCU, 15 career interceptions, runs a 4.4, part of the Natty run in 2022. So Bud Clark, know who he is, have not deep dove on the tape yet. I know who he is from broadcast watching TCU here and there. But from what I've seen from Bud Clark, he's a player that I think will be a solid player for years to come and an unsung hero in some ways, kind of a guy like, oh, hey, there's Bud Clark making a good play. Just a guy at the back end of the defense, all reliable, if you will. But he's a prospect that I think has a chance to be a solid starter in the NFL. Not superstar, but a solid starter. But from what I've seen, I'm a fan of his game. Have not dove into the All-22 fully with Bud Clark yet. Have we talked about the Lions? Let's break it down. Let's break down the Detroit Lions. And by the way, if you are enjoying, like I said, please drop a like. It helps the stream tremendously. Appreciate everyone being in here. So, within this, the Lions game from last night. The Detroit Lions lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. They fall to 6-4, which, everybody, the thing is heading into this year, we discussed this, there was always going to be a regression because it was going to be impossible to have, or next to impossible, to have back-to-back 15-win seasons, right? So the regression is here. But the Rock Ya-Sin penalty was obviously, at minimum, a poorly timed call. I think everybody would agree. There were a lot of Eagles fans that I saw that also said, hey, that was a bad call. And here we go. This is really exactly how I feel. The PI call was horrendous, but that's not why they lost. And I would agree with that, because the reality is with how good the Lions offense is, even though they didn't have Sam Laporta, putting up 9 points on the road, especially in a game against an elite team in the Philadelphia Eagles. We're not playing 9. We're not playing a bottom 5 quarterback here, the way that J.J. McCarthy has been. We're not playing a bad quarterback. that's not going to get the job done. And there was a tweet, I want to pull this up exactly from Ben Solak, who works for ESPN. He tweeted it was towards the end of the game last night. But there was, hold on here, there's actually a couple of Jared Goff tweets. He tweeted this at 10:40 last night, which was late third, early fourth, somewhere in there. Goff is 6 for 19 throwing beyond the line of scrimmage tonight, 7 for 7 behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, you could say what you want about, hey, it was windy, hey, it was this, it was that. 6 for 19 beyond the line of scrimmage is not going to cut it. Period. No matter who you are. So that's, I mean, again, you can say what you want about one flag at the end, put up more points. And Dan Campbell, they went for it. They had the opportunities. They didn't make the plays. So there was also a tweet from Solak after the game. Jared Goff completed 14 of 37 attempts, 37.8%. The last quarterback to attempt more than 35 passes with as poor of a completion percentage was Bryce Young nearly 2 years ago, which was in week 14 of 2023. So you can say what you want about the call at the end. And yes, you would be justified to say it was a bad call. But I would kind of ask this question. Do you legitimately think, based on how the Lions offense played last night, based on how Jared Goff played last night, with how the pass rush was affecting him, with how poor he played, that they were going to get a touchdown drive? And Dan Campbell, if they would have had a touchdown drive, that Dan Campbell would have went for 2 to win 17-16 in regulation. Do you think, based on the first 59 minutes of the game, that was going to happen? Because I personally don't. So, like I said, you can blame what you want, but when you put up 9 points on the road, I don't think refs are the end-all, be-all as to why you lost a game. But that's just me. I mean, I would have some self-reflecting before I would say, hey, the refs, screwed us out of a call, that type of thing. All right, never apologize for the refs. Eagles, Pats don't. No comment. I mean, the Pats won 27-14. I know what you're saying. But, no, I mean, look, like I said, if you want to win, then put up more than 9 points over the first 59 minutes of the game. That is where I stand on that. And I think Lions fans should agree with that, but I mean, to each their own. All right. Andy, appreciate the super chat, Vix. And Vix says, Andy Reid's refusal to run under center is infuriating even when it's clearly working. This is a thing that other fan bases just don't agree with, or don't see at times. I think there's just kind of like the rose-colored lenses here. But there's times where you have the Patrick Mahomes, you have the Travis Kelce, you just assume life is grand all the time. And the reality is, I mean, play calling is frustrating. And by the way, I know this doesn't pertain to the Chiefs, but I was really annoyed with Kevin O'Connell's lack of running the football at the Vikings in week 10. They ran the ball a lot yesterday. JJ McCarthy played horrible, but no, I'm with you. I mean, whenever things are working, I will never understand why coaches go away from things for whatever reason. Hey, we're averaging 5.5 yards per carry. You know what we need to do? We need to call a couple of screens to go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 8. We need to just continue. I mean, call me old school, and I'm surprised Andy Reid's not like this because he's an O-line coach. If you are pounding the rock and pounding the rock and pounding the rock, why would you not continue to just say, hey, we are going to play, big boy, grown man football and stop us? And if I were the Lions, I would try and do that every time, especially run right behind Penei Sewell. I would do that all the time. Get Jahmyr Gibbs going, let Penei just destruction. Yes, I would do that all the time. But I'm with you. I get where you're coming from, and it frustrates me too. Eclectic Divergent is a trooper. He's always asking people to like the stream, which I very much appreciate, Eclectic. But all right. 4.5 yards per carry is what Kareem was averaging, and then we just abandoned it. That's very, that's frustrating. I mean, I don't have an answer for that other than I think that they should have continued to run the football. All right, let's see here. Who, in your opinion, is top quarterback in the NFL draft this year? Let's see here. My personal quarterback one right now is Ty Simpson from Alabama, and Dante Moore is from Oregon. I think he's going to go back to school, but so I'm going to exclude Dante Moore from the conversation, but I think it's Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza. And right now, I think both players will go top 10. You look at the Browns and Raiders, and the Jets are all quarterback needy teams. The Jets obviously have a lot of 2027 capital, but all three teams need quarterbacks. I think there's a very real scenario where both quarterbacks go in the top 10. Actually, I would be surprised if Mendoza and Ty Simpson do not both go in the top 10. All right, very difficult to be a Falcons fan. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, look, 1,000 yards in the past 2 games for a defensive coach. Now your quarterback is, let's see if there's any update. Drake London in the middle of this suffered a PCL sprain, is out this week, potentially more. That's from Ian Rappaport, not me. That's from Rap Sheet, who's obviously very, very plugged in. That's obviously not good. Yeah, this is, I mean, look, man, I don't have anything that's positive to say right now about the Falcons because you also don't have a first-round pick. And I'm not getting into James Pierce discussion. James Pierce has been fine. But you just talk about a nightmare season. Your head coach is bad. Your quarterback has not been good. Your offensive coordinator hasn't been good. And now your quarterback is probably, or at least it says potentially season-ending injury. So we'll see how that goes. I'm jacked. I appreciate that. Thank you. I've been trying to put on some weight. I'm up to 174. So I appreciate it. Thank you. But no, I mean, I don't have anything positive to say right now for Falcons fans that they can actually latch onto other than your days with Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson are probably in their final 7 games. That's about it. But what's up with JJ McCarthy? He stinks. 5 games. I mean, he's been terrible. What do you want me to say? I mean, the thing is about myself is I'm not like Viking homer to the point where I'm like, hey, JJ had that. I mean, JJ's going to be the guy. Look, 2 interceptions, no big deal. No, he's been terrible. He's completing 52.9% of his passes. He has 8 interceptions on the year. Another 2 interception game yesterday. He's been bad. Very bad. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no, oh, well, it's just, he's just our little baby. He'll be good. It's just, no, he's been bad. This is National Football League. This is, you got to take the gloves off. You got to, dive in. He's been bad. Call it what it is. He has to play better. So, we'll leave it at that. Don't talk about 9 like that. No, 9 has been 9 has been a number 2. Nine's been a number 2. All right, coming from Bears fan, appreciate the super chat, Alexander, who is familiar with mid-bite quarterbacks. I don't think JJ. Wait. I don't like JJ. I think Minnesota moves on. Jefferson will 1 out if he stays. There is a there's a much larger conversation about this in particular, and I have I'm actually debating on like making just I'm thinking of doing like occasional short videos for members only of the channel. So I appreciate all the members, and there's a lot of members in here right now. Sean Jones just commented there's been several members all throughout. Drew Bob is a member. I appreciate everybody that watches and everybody that just watches me talk about football. But I'm debating on just kind of my off the cuff thoughts, just making them into members only videos, because for every thought I'd have there'd be a video here, there'd be like 100 videos a day, and I don't have the time to make those type of productions. So I'm thinking of just making like a quick short and just moving on with it. But the reason I bring that up is because I'm currently in the middle of workshopping an idea if JJ does not work out in the next 7 games. Because right now you have 7 games to determine if there's any growth at all with McCarthy. Because right now there's been no growth. I know, it's been 5 games. I'm not out on JJ after 5 games. But what I am saying, there has been no growth. It's very bad. He's missing very open throws that you cannot miss as an NFL quarterback. We are not modern day high school, and that's a really like popular, or that's a really huge high school. That's one of the only high schools that I know like nationally, like modern day Bishop Gorman, St. Thomas Aquinas, those high schools. Some of the quarterbacks there would have made some of the throws that JJ missed yesterday. You cannot miss those throws. All right. Let's see here. Are we really going to do I'm back to all in on Bryce Young again? No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I've said I'm not all in on Bryce Young. I got to see more consistency. I'm very happy for him, and I 448 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's franchise record in which you broke Cam Newton's. Hell yeah, good for Bryce. Awesome. Very happy for him. I'm not all in 7 days after I said I'm out. I want to see more from him. But right now, Panthers fans should enjoy the win. And if I were a Panthers fan right now, I can't say I'd be looking at the schedule. I would just enjoy this win. Because right now, they play the 49ers and Rams in the next 2 weeks. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Thoughts on Bo Nix? Oh, that's fair. Appreciate it, Sean. Thoughts on Bo Nix? Oh, from a Broncos fan. Hell yeah, man. Congratulations on the win yesterday. 9-2. And look, Bo Nix, I feel like it's time, because Bo Nix, I mean, you're a Broncos fan, so you know this. I feel like Bo Nix does not, I mean, he doesn't make like the insane Josh Allen plays. And Bo Nix at times gets way overhated for the player that he is. But look, he has the Broncos at 9-2. He's not throwing them out of games. They are, right now, the Broncos are, I mean, they're winning games. That's the only thing that matters. And Bo Nix right now, I don't want to bring out the game manager label, but right now he's doing what he needs to do to win games. And that's all that matters. But the Broncos this year, they've put up 30 points just twice. They've put up 28 points in 4 games of their 10, which is still pretty good. But right now they're right around league average in points per game. I am not getting into a Bo Nix top whatever conversation, but he's doing what he has to do to win games. I also think that Sean Payton undoubtedly deserves I think I got a word this year, the benefit of the doubt in terms of developing his quarterback and in terms of leading him and teaching him the way that he wants. I also think it's very fair to say for Bo Nix that the supporting cast he has is not the best. So I think that's very fair. All right, Caleb, I appreciate this, and I will, I'll look, right now we're NFL season. There's a lot going on, but look, draft season, whenever draft season rolls around, it's going to be an awesome time. There's going to be individual prospect breakdowns because of XOS, the way that XOS is. There's going to be, I'm just going to tell you guys now, there will be a lot of member-only videos pertaining to, here's a Fernando Mendoza breakdown. Here is a Ty Simpson breakdown. There will be a lot of member-only videos because XOS, the company or Catapult Sports, whatever, the company that is in charge of the college All-22, they are, if you post the All-22 footage for college, like publicly, I don't know why it is the way that it is, but they are, I don't want to get political about this. I almost said a term that referred to not great people about 80 years ago. I'll just leave it at that. They are not nice when it comes to college All-22. And I've seen several of my friends and people in this space have videos taken down after hours and hours and hours and hours of hard work that goes into those videos. So I'm probably going to keep them behind the members only. That way they don't technically go public. And that way a video does not get taken down. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. All right, I'll just leave it at that. Let's super chat here. Filthy Casual. Nice username. Are the Ravens back? Yes. With the game against the Jets next, yes. They're so right now we know they didn't play great offensively yesterday. The Browns defense is still the Browns defense. People are going to say that I'm probably making excuses, but they're 5-5. They've won 4 in a row. They play the Jets next week. That'll probably be 6-5. They play the Bengals on Thanksgiving. Even if Joe Burrow's back, I would still lean the Ravens. I don't trust the Bengals defense. The Ravens can be 7-5. Then they play the Steelers. The Steelers are always a toss-up. They can be 8-5. I think at worst the Ravens will be 7-6 through 13 games. Then they play the Bengals again, the Patriots, the Packers, the Steelers. The Ravens are consistently one of the most well-run organizations. I think they're going to figure everything out, and I think they are. I think they're going to end up making the playoffs. But all right. If you guys could like the stream, I would very much appreciate it. I know I've said that a couple of times, but that was a good Week 11 recap. I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate the time out of your day. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, and if you're not, I mean, a bad day, even a bad day only lasts 24 hours. So I'll just leave it at that. But if you are having a bad day, hopefully that I took your mind off of whatever you may be going through. Everybody is, for what you know about a person, there's probably something you don't know. Everybody's always going through something. So it takes $0 to be a nice person. So until next time, as always, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.